Hi there, this is Kevin Carlson, and I'm here with Warehouse Mouse. Hello! And you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Cheese! It's not the line, Warehouse Mouse, it's roll it. Roll it!
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Since July of 2021, Jake and his friends have interviewed professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and many more. Who will they be chatting with in this week's interview? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. I'm one of your co-hosts, Chris Bixby, and with me today is our other co-host, Matt Bingel, his pal Julius, and our host, Jake Deffinbaugh. How are you guys?
Doing great, Chris.
He's here. He's here. I haven't even given a chance to get him on yet. We're doing good.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Matt, who do we have for today's guest?
Our special guest today is a puppeteer with over 3 decades of experience in the industry. He's worked on numerous projects, including the iconic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film franchise, where he played the character in Michelangelo. He's also worked on the TV series Dinosaurs, Muppets Tonight, and the Muppets, to name a few. Throughout his career, Michelan has honed his craft to become one of the most talented and sought-after puppeteers in the business. He's got a true passion for puppetry, and his dedication to the art form shines through all of his work. Here he is, Michelan Sisti. Michelan, welcome. How you doing?
Hi, everybody. Who are you talking about? Dedicated? I don't know what you're talking about. Who's your friend?
My name's Julius.
Hi, Julius.
Hello.
I like your hair color.
Thank you.
All of it. All of your hair.
Yes. I'm happy about that. So we know who you are, but for those who don't, in your own words, would you care to introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh, okay, sure. I am a fellow who has been very blessed and very lucky. I am an actor, a puppeteer. I have at various times in my life and careers been a musician, many other things as well to keep bread coming into the house. But the last 34 years now, I have been associated with first and foremost the Jim Henson Company, and then in tandem with that for the last 20-some years, Disney as well. And like I say, blessed and lucky.
Awesome.
So what was your background like, and how did you grow up?
Okay, I was an Army brat, which meant that I was moving around every 2 or 3 years, so that is what prompted me to become kind of the cut-up guy, the class clown kind of guy, because when you move around every couple of years, you got to fit in as quickly as possible, right? Because you're going to be moving away in another couple of years anyway. So to do that, I would be the jokester. I would do funny bits. And that kind of got the juices flowing. Later on, I did a talent show in 5th grade, which really got the juices flowing and convinced me that I liked being in front of an audience. Eventually, after going through a career in music to get me through college and all of that stuff, I ended up in theater again, which I had dabbled in high school and college as well, but just unofficially. And I became a professional actor in Buffalo, New York, working at the Studio Arena Theater there. That led me to 3 years in residency between Studio Arena Theater and another theater up there called the Keenan Taylor Theater. And that got me my equity card, like I say. And then I had done everything I could in Western New York. And it was time to move to New York. And that's what I did. I moved to New York City, had a 20-year career in the theater there. And as one of my auditions, just like any other audition, well, actually, not like any other audition that I had in the theater, I auditioned to become a Ninja Turtle and got lucky there too. Became a Ninja Turtle, met Jim, met all of the people connected with Jim. And eventually they invited me to come out from New York after we had finished the 2 Turtles movies to become an actor out there with them. We did Dinosaurs. That was what brought me out there. And then since then, it's been 20 plus years since that point with the Muppets and Hensons and whoever wanted to pay me.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, prior to becoming a puppeteer, you mentioned theater. What was it like doing theater for many years?
Oh, that theater was my first love. That's what I was destined to do. And in fact, I was going to be in New York. I'd been in New York for 20 years. I'd done 5 Broadway shows. I was ready to just stay there for the rest of my life. And then Turtles happened. Steve Barron happened, the director of the first Turtles movie. He changed my life.
No, that's great. Do you have any favorite theater productions that you did?
Well, my ultimate favorite is my Broadway debut. That was Fiddler on the Roof with Herschel
Oh, wow.
Bernardi, as Tevye, and I played Mottle the tailor. We also had Maria Karnilova in there, who was the original Golda from the very first production of Fiddler. So yeah, I was very happy about that one.
Awesome.
So you're also a musician. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, in my house, my parents, even though we had the disadvantage, like I say, of the 2-year moves, they always wanted us to have creative influences. And my mom was very adamant about my brother Frank and I studying music. So he started out on the accordion, a very popular instrument, which of course meant that was going to be my first instrument, hand-me-down kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I graduated from the accordion to, all right, the succession was clarinet, then oboe, English horn, no, clarinet, saxophone, oboe, English horn, taught myself drums, and that's what got me paid through college. And then I realized I'd gone as far as I could with music, and theater was my first love, as I say anyway. So it was an easy transition then to leave that behind once it got me through school and focus on the acting.
Nice. Nice. So now, moving on to puppetry, how did that kind of come into play?
Well, I've said this before. I got on-the-job training. That's what happened for me when we were doing Dinosaurs. Up to that point, I had never done puppetry at all. I mean, I'd done a costume work, obviously, with the Turtles and some things I'd done on stage in costume, but never with a hand puppet or anything like that. So when we were doing Dinosaurs, I was doing Charlene, the daughter. I was in that suit. And then I had another suit, Sid Turtlepuss, who got to be different characters as well as Sid, which was what kept me sane. But whenever I wasn't in a suit, well, not whenever, but many times when I wasn't in the suit, they would say, here's this puppet, go get in that scene. And then eventually that led to getting dialogue as a puppeteer. And then I fell in love with it. I was there watching and learning from the best in the business as far as I was concerned. So yeah, that's how I learned to be a puppeteer. And that's what continued on for the next 25 years.
Nice. Nice. So Matt or Julius, which one do you want to take this next question?
Your turn. Okay, thank you. One of your earliest Henson projects was working on the first 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, performing the body, that's right, body, of Michelangelo. What was it like working on those amazing movies?
Wow, so many answers to that question. The first one would be that being in a suit is hell.
I can imagine.
Especially being in a rubber suit in North Carolina in the summer made it even worse hell. But yeah, the fact that I got to do those 2 movies, doing that character in that group of characters, was a privilege that I have been thankful for every day of my life since. But it was a hard job. It was a very physically demanding job. It was a mentally demanding job. But it was a huge adventure. I mean, one of the reasons why I made that transition from New York in the theater to coming out here to LA to do all of the other stuff was because it was an incredible challenge. I had challenges as an actor on stage, but nothing that demanded as many things as that work did. So that really juiced me. I liked challenges. So that got me interested more and more. And they kept throwing more challenges my way, which is their want. And so I was more interested and wanted to stick around. But yeah, it was a privilege and a wonderful, wonderful experience. And the best part of it, all of the personal stuff aside, is the fans, the Ninja Turtle fans that have sustained me ever since the movie happened. They have been so giving and so loving and so supportive, and they feel free to tell me their personal interesting stories as well, and that is a privilege for me. And yeah, that's been the real blessing of the whole ball of wax, has been the people that I've met.
Awesome. And of course, you know, the Ninja Turtles franchise is so iconic, and it's, you know, still going on to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very glad about that. I mean, lots of people ask me, what do you think of this version? What do you think of that version? I am happy with them all because, just as you say, they have continued the franchise. They've continued the people being interested in these characters, and I think that's well worth it.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, so of course, Dinosaurs, you mentioned you performed Sid Turtlepuss and the body of Charlene and many other characters. What was it like getting to work on that show? Because you of course, you know, worked on Turtles, and now you're working on this, you know, this show with Henson. Did you know that it would become such a huge success?
No. In fact, the way it was set up, we finished. Jim had mentioned the possibility of this show when I met him doing Turtles 1. Then we lost him, and I thought, okay, that's not going to happen now. But then when they invited me back to do the second Turtles movie, his son Brian and Martin Baker, who was another one of the executives of the Henson Company, they came to me and Leif Tilden, who was also doing Turtles. He was Donatello. And they asked us that they said, we're going to go ahead with Jim's idea for the TV show. We'd like you to participate. So I said, sure. So what we did was we finished the second Turtles movie. I went back to New York for a couple of months while they were setting things up. Came out here to LA. We did the first 6 episodes of Dinosaurs. And then I went back to New York because they were going to air those and see if there was really an interest in this kind of thing, because there had never been a show like this on TV. And so after, I think it was the 3rd episode, the 3rd week that they had aired, they called and said, we're going to do the rest of the first season. Come back. So I came back, and literally that was going to be the time that I severed my ties with New York as an actor, because they said it's going to be another 14 to 20 weeks. So I shut everything down and came out here, and I've been out here ever since, except for some short trips back east.
Awesome. Yeah, Dinosaurs is a really great show. I've seen a bunch of episodes of it on Disney Plus. I'm glad it's there.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that
absolutely.
show.
Yeah. Great show.
Oh,
I like to crank up Disney Plus every once in a while and say, what was I doing? Oh, there I am. Yes, thanks.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of like curious. Do you have like any like favorite Dinosaurs episodes?
Oh yeah, many. As a matter of fact, I am a little bit biased towards the Charlene-centric shows, and there were some of those. That was always a lot of fun. Bruce Lanoil, who was my puppeteer.
Yes, he was the very first guest on our podcast. Love Bruce.
Oh, really? That's excellent.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
He's wonderful. He's great.
He's great.
Yeah, and he, you know, he among that group of friends has been a 30-year friend. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, he was my puppeteer for Charlene. Had a different puppeteer for Sid, and we were having such a good time that we became the team that could get shows shot quicker. Normally, well, you aimed for a 1-week shoot on an episode. So you would finish off by, well, in our case, it was always very, very early in the morning on Saturdays. Yeah. But we were so good at doing our work and quick about it that we shot, there were a number of Charlene shows. We shot one in 4 days. We shot one in 3.5 days, which was unheard of. But yeah, we were kind of the go-to team if they had a Charlene-centric show that they knew they were going to get they were going to make the pages each day.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of good ones. The Charlene episodes, of course, are really good.
Oh yeah. Oh, you asked me about which episode. Well, the first one that was a fun for me was when Charlene got her tail, but that was in first season. That was very early on. Later on, she had storylines where at one point she was at Earl's dad's work, and she was teaching the rest of the Earl and the rest of the guys at work how to do exercises and Zen stuff, and that was a lot of fun. And then there was one where she went off to find herself, which I thought was a really cool idea. And she trekked around the world, as it turned out. Amazing for such a young girl.
There are a lot of good ones. The Network Genius episodes is a really fun one.
That was a fun one for Sid in particular. He was one of the network executives who couldn't believe what Earl was doing.
Yeah, so we've interviewed some other people you worked with on Dinosaurs as well, like John Kennedy and Alan Troutman.
Definitely great people, both of them.
Ricky Boyd. We've talked to a lot of people. Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, Ricky's great. I even met him, Kevin Clash at GalaxyCon in Richmond. So he's
cool.
Yes. Great. Awesome. So Matt or Julius, which one of you wants to take the next question?
My turn. Okay. You're so confident. I know.
Let's go.
Are there any fun or interesting stories you can share from your dinosaur days?
Well, yeah, there are some. We shot that at the that wasn't Raleigh, that was CBS. Yeah, CBS Radford. That was it. We used to have fun on that lot because there were a lot of other shows shooting at the same time. We were. Seinfeld was there when we first got there. So whenever we could take a break, we would go over and sneak into their sound stages and watch what was going on there. Roseanne was shooting there. My buddy John Goodman was doing that. So I used to go over and see him. We would do, like I say, we would start out on Mondays with an early call, like a 6:30, 7 o'clock call on Monday. And then by Friday, because we had such long days each day of the week, we would come in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and stay until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So that's what our week was like. So we saw people around the lot for the first couple of days. And then eventually, as we got later and later in our call time, they were all going home as we were coming in. So yeah, that got kind of crazy. The experiences on set, there was laughter every day. There was pain every day.
I'm sure.
We used to try to play little friendly tricks on each other just to keep everybody alert and happy. There was a lot of time when we were sitting in suits waiting for things to happen, lighting and stuff like that. And we would sing songs and do stuff like that just to keep ourselves sane. And eventually we got to enjoy it a lot. So we were even harmonizing.
Nice.
Nice. Awesome. So moving on to some of your other puppetry work, you've also done a lot of work with the Muppets over the years. Do you remember the first ever project you worked on with them?
Vividly, yeah. We had just wrapped the fourth and final season of Dinosaurs, and they were doing a Muppet Story Theater. That's what it was.
Yes.
That was the first thing that I did.
Love that.
Had no idea what the hell I was doing because the stuff I had done during Dinosaurs was usually sitting someplace or standing someplace in one place. On that show, I was moving across this frame and stuff. I had chickens that were bouncing. There's one image for you. There's the very first shot I ever did as a puppeteer that wasn't on Dinosaurs, was in this project. And the first shot was I was a chicken among a bunch of other chickens, and we had to cross frame from right to left. And when I later saw it, there's this group of chickens. There was, I think, 5 or 6 chickens. There's this group of chickens, and there's 5 of them that are here, and then there's here. It was like this. There was
Oh
five
my
chickens
God.
up here, and there was me because I was the shortest person on the set. And at that time, I didn't have the built-up shoes or anything that I got later and stuff like that, standing on apple boxes because it's a traveling shot. I was on the floor, and I looked at that and I just laughed. I said, "That's the chicken with the shortest legs in existence."
Oh, that's great. That's
That was a
great.
fun show. That was a fun show, and that led to lots of others.
Yes, definitely. And I know you've worked on some of the commercials that they do as well. Can you talk a bit about doing those?
Uh, uh, we did one commercial where I was on the HDPS, the digital control system, controlling the head of a blue alien thing that we did. I can't even remember what the heck that was for, but we shot that at a lovely home on Malibu Beach. Whew, that was quite nice. But that one we did another commercial, a Japanese commercial for some product, and we had a lion and a zebra. The old adage about the lion laying down with the zebra, and they were both animatronic. I was controlling the lion, I think it was, yeah, and Bruce was doing the zebra. What other commercials did we do? There weren't that many commercials, actually. I did more commercials with Muppets later than I did with the Hensons early on. The most recent commercial that I worked on was the animal drumming for the Geico commercial. That was a year or two ago, where he's in the attic drumming away. There been maybe a handful or some others. Those jobs tend to fade into the background because they're normally just one day.
Right.
It's rare that a commercial, well, sometimes, but mostly they're just one day shoots. And because there've been so many, they kind of fade in.
Right. I'm kind of curious because these were kind of like, I guess, more recent. Did you get to work on the Facebook portal commercials the Muppets did?
Oh yes, I forgot about that one. That was lovely because it was a Christmas theme because they released the portal at Christmas, and so we were sitting in a living room set that we were using for actually another piece as well, singing Christmas carols, and I got on that one I was assisting Eric again on Animal, and they gave him a rhythm instrument, of course, so I was standing underneath doing a little rhythm instrument for him. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, there was like a big group one too where they all sing Rainbow Connection.
Well, there have been many times we've done Rainbow Connection. My favorite times have been the live performances because there's a special connection with the theater and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, we sang it both times at the Hollywood Bowl when we did the 2 live shows there, and when we did it at the O2 in London.
Oh, I wish I would have went to see those. I've seen clips of it on YouTube. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were the most fun I had in 30 years. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, because it kind of gives me like classic Muppet like vibes. You know,
exactly.
with all the big group numbers and all the classic songs, and it's great.
Plus, we were reviving some of the old wonderful bits that they used to do that were so popular.
Of course.
So that had
like a Pigs in Space. That was one of my favorites that you guys brought back in that one.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, we do have fun.
That was wonderful. So I know you mentioned in various projects assisting Eric doing the drumming arms for Animal. What's that like?
That is a special treat. That all happened. Well, first of all, it's been, wow, 15, 20 years that I've been doing that particular work with him. And it's just been a treat the whole time. He's wonderful to work with. He's a lovely man. They all are. But yeah, it was a special treat for me because it brought back my musicianship because I was a drummer at one point. That's how I earned my living for a while. And so I had those skills, and it was all because of Bill Beretta. Have you interviewed him by chance yet?
No, but I've talked to him. I've talked to him before. He's wonderful.
Yeah, he definitely is. It was his idea. There was a point where on the Jimmy Kimmel show, he was having week-long guest co-hosts, and Kermit was going to be the co-host for a week. And so the first night that Kermit was going to be co-host, Billy calls up and says, we're going to put Animal with the Jimmy Kimmel band, stage band, and he's going to be on his drum kit behind a little wall. And I'd like you to come in and drum for him. I went, oh, okay. So that first bit was just a ridiculous situation physically. We're both lying on the floor behind this 2-foot wall. The drum kit was visible and Animal was visible, of course, above the wall. And just trying to figure out some way to hit something in rhythm. But from that situation, Billy liked the idea so much that from that point on, every time that Animal was doing drumming out here as opposed to New York, sometimes they would fly me back, but most of the time it was out here. He would call me up and say, okay, you're going to drum for him. And I, over the years, because it became a real focal point for me that I wanted Animal to be the best drummer he could be. When Frank created the idea with Animal's drumming, he would flail and do crazy things, and it was just fantastic and crazy and Animal, very Animal. But we were doing a lot of music. We were doing a lot of songs and a lot of covers of songs. And as a old drummer, I said, oh, I got to do more drumming. So I would try to drum as precisely with the recorded tracks that they gave us as possible. And they liked it. They liked the idea that when a cymbal crash happened in the music, there was a cymbal being crashed by Animal. And that made a lot of sense. So I honed and developed that over the years to the point now where I have brought in so many things to add to the drum kit and to make things at least feasible for me to do drumming for him. Because you got to remember, Animal's up there, Eric's behind me, hand up behind me. So Animal and the drums are up there. So I'm down here with long rods with the sticks, the drumsticks at the end of the rods, and I'm playing the drum kit like this and looking at my monitor, which is in the bass drum right in front of me. So it's a crazy looking thing when we're doing it, but it's so much fun and a real challenge. But it satisfies all the music inside of me.
Definitely. So I know among the many things you got to do with the Muppets, you also got to work on the 2011 movie. Do you have any, if you can remember, do you have any favorite scenes you did for that particular movie?
My favorite scene of the whole show was the very end of the show. We had that huge shot where all of the characters are on the stage. Oh,
yes.
I absolutely love that. And in fact, they were nice enough to make that setup the crew photograph. So after we finished all the shooting and we were all in the pit on the stage with all of the characters there, then they got back in the back of the house and took the group shot, which is my favorite shot of all. Yeah, that was fun. Jason was just a dream, and Amy Adams, she was wonderful. I mean, they were just so wonderful people that you enjoyed going to work every day. And then on top of that, we had the fun of what we were doing.
Yeah, definitely. And again, because at that point, I think they hadn't really done a lot of like major Muppet productions in a while.
No, that was kind of the comeback for us.
Yeah, definitely.
It's amazing.
Definitely.
Absolutely, yes.
You guys like that one?
Oh
yes,
yeah,
I have it.
it's amazing.
In fact, in the background, you can see I have it on a DVD.
I have it.
Oh yeah.
I have it on DVD too, but I'm not home to show it.
Oh, it's a really
not yet anyway. We probably will get it. It's fine.
It's one of my favorites too. I like that one.
Yes.
Oh, it's wonderful. Absolutely.
Definitely.
You want to take this one? Yep. Go for it. So, in addition to that, you also got to work a bit in the sequel, Muppets Most Wanted, in the LA scenes.
Yeah, I came in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you what was it like working on that.
That was fun. I didn't do that much on it. I was doing another project which took me away for the first period of shooting. So I came in like the second half of shooting. But yeah, that was fun. With the Muppets, that was an interesting concept. It was like you would have these strange images where you would look at the character, you had your hand up, and you would look at the Muppet version of that character and you go, Ooh, somebody didn't live very well. Oh my goodness gracious! So yeah, that was a bit of a shock, but fun. All of it was fun.
Awesome. And I know you also worked on the ABC series,
Oh
the
yeah,
ABC Muppet series. Yes.
the Muppet Show. Yes, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot of hopes for that one. There was some really good work being done on that. We had some issues with storyline. I think that was what caused our issues and why we didn't last. But yeah, we had a lot of hopes for that one. It looked really shiny at the beginning.
Definitely, yeah. And I've seen some episodes of that on ABC when it was on, and also on Disney Plus too. It's a really good show.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
everybody was bringing their A game to that one for sure.
I do like the concept they were going with Miss Piggy having a talk show. I think that was a perfect idea.
Yes.
Oh, it was a great idea. It was
I
perfect
do
for
like
her. Plus, that gave
everything
us some
else.
great guest stars coming in too, because they were going to
Yes.
be
Oh,
stars
yeah.
on her show as well. So yeah, that was
Mhm.
a good hook. I got to drum off with Dave Grohl because of that.
That's right.
That
Yes.
was
Oh,
a
yeah.
Oh my
whoa,
gosh.
what a treat that was. He was
Oh
such a
yeah.
nice guy.
Oh my gosh.
Wonderful. You know, yeah, and I am curious. Other than Dave Grohl, do you have any other favorite celebrities you got to work with on that show?
Oh, we had so many. I mean, one of the favorites for me, because I'm an old singer, was when the Pentatonics was there, and that was just fantastic.
Yes.
They were.
Yes. Pentatonics. Yes.
I would sit there on the set in some scenes that I was performing in just to hear them sing. It was so much fun.
Awesome. And speaking of celebrities, you also worked on Studio DC Almost Live, which had the Disney Channel stars. What was it like getting to work with them?
Oh, lots of fun. I mean, we've done so many things like that over the years. We worked with. We did one bit where they had three of their most popular tween shows. They had the stars from each one of those. High School Musical was one of them. The one with Miley Cyrus was another.
Yeah, Hannah Montana, yes.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you, Hannah Montana. And then the one with the two young boys who lived in a hotel.
Oh yeah, Sweet Life, yes.
Sweet Life, that was it. Yeah. And so we had one bit like that with the three shows. We did bits with each one of them. That was fun. And we've done other ones along the way. The most recent one we did just this past Christmas season was they did the anniversary of Muppets Christmas Carol. And we did a live show that was also broadcast internally for Disney with reviving many of the numbers from the film. Had some of the like Dave Goltz and some of the guys who had shot the movie had a little panel on stage, and they were asked questions. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, we've done a lot of different things for Disney consumption.
Nice. And you've the Muppets I know also appeared on Good Luck Charlie as well, which I know you've also done some work on outside of the Muppets.
Yeah, I got to, we were doing the gang was there shooting the show. A lot of fun. Again, very nice people. And then towards the very end, there was going to be this one little scene with the youngest little girl and her toys. One of the, what were the name of them? There was a name for them, like Wiggles or something.
The Gurgles, yes.
Gurgles, that was right, because it was Circle Gurgle.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to do a little piece with this puppet here, Circle Gurgle. Will you do that? I said, oh, sure. So that was a little extra treat. I was the puppet was sat in her toy box. So I'm down below, stuck in the toy box down here. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. A little extra treat. I've had many little extra treats sent my way over the years. It's been nice.
Awesome.
So a few years ago, you had the pleasure of being one of the many puppeteers involved in the Muppets appearances at the Hollywood Bowl and the O2. What was that experiences?
Well, as I said, that's some of my most favorite times because it ties in the live stage, with our work as Muppets, and that is right up my alley. I absolutely loved it. The first time we were at the Hollywood Bowl, it was John Macheri. Oh gosh, I've just destroyed his name. He was the conductor of the Hollywood Bowl Philharmonic at that time, Orchestra Symphony at that time, and he was leaving. It was going to be his last concert, and they said, you can do anything you want. You can invite anyone that you want. And he wanted us. He wanted the Muppets. And Kristen Chenoweth, who is a favorite of mine as well. So we were all on the bill with him, and we just did a bunch of different pieces. But the most remarkable situation for that particular performance was that we did a full-length Piggy live for the first time on stage. She had a number where she was sat and then standing later on top of the grand piano that John was playing for her to sing her torch song. And we had never done that. We performed it in the Bon Raku style. We're all wearing black, and you can't see us against a black background. And you just see Piggy featured in the spotlight, of course. So that was a lot of fun because we had never done that before. Like I say, I love the challenges, the new stuff, the new challenges are always exciting for me. So yeah, that was fun. Then we did a second time at the Hollywood Bowl where we created our show that was just Muppets for the night. I mean, the first time, like I say, Kristen Chenoweth was on the bill. There was a ballet company that was on the bill. But this second time, it was our show. It was Muppets Take the Bowl is what it was called. And the audience was comprised of dyed-in-the-wool Muppets fans. And the most thrilling part of it all, it harkens back to my relationship with the Turtles fans, was that every song that we did, because we were reviving some of the oldies and goodies, they were singing out loud with us.
That's great.
The best feeling in the world. And we had the same experience with that show that we then modified to take to London. We put in some references that would make more sense to the Brits. And we did it there. And they did the same thing. They sang right along with us.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So that's amazing.
Such great appearances. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, you've also done some work with the Henson Digital Performance System.
Yes.
First off, can you describe what that is for those who don't know? And can you also describe what it's like working with that style of puppetry?
Sure. They created a system. It was originally the London Creature Shop that created it. They created this thing called the Big One, which was a very basic rudimentary computer that they created to have some input for very clunky early days animatronics. Now, everything then with their animatronics, and it was true all the way through the first Turtles movie, they would have some location where all of the motors would be, and then there would be bicycle brake cables running up to the head of the puppet or the suit head if it was a suit character, usually coming out the back so the camera couldn't see it. And all of the servos and everything that would manipulate the bicycle brake cables would then make the mechanisms move. Then we did that for a number of years until they developed a new system, which they introduced between Turtles 1 and Turtles 2, where everything was digital. And that began the transition to the HDPS that you're talking about, the Henson Digital Performance Suite system, depends on what time of the year. And that consisted of a Waldo, which Jim had created to be a simulation of hand puppetry. So everything you did with a hand puppet, you did with this Waldo. And it was a device that you slipped your hand into, and it looked like a wah, 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 wah. There was a piece up above and a piece down below. And then they added more things that you could do with the Waldo, where it was on a stick, and it had registration down here, so you could push forward and right and left and back, and that would do something different. You could program a different control for each movement. So you had this movement, you had this movement, and then you also had, on the first versions, the twist. Yeah, you had the twist in the hand as well. So you would program what you needed for the dialogue that you were delivering. So sometimes if you were doing vowel shapes that you wanted to get, you would be doing motions like this because you had programmed different controls at different movements, right?
Right.
So that was the Waldo. On the other side was a joystick, just like the kind of gaming joysticks that you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And that had usually, the first iteration had 5. Later we had 6 because you could do a spread with your fingers. And then there was a little thumb pot that most of us put the eyes left, right, or up, down on, because it was a control that they developed from a fighter jet control, from an F-16 of all things. And so we had this little thumb pot that we could do to control the eyes. So while you're doing your controls, you're doing all sorts of things like this, so that each movement that you make is making a different shape in the animatronics. So that's what the HDPS system was designed for a puppeteer to be able to do. So one puppeteer was now doing the job of as many as 6, because previously, when it was just people controlling levers with bicycle brake cables running to the mechanism, you had to have 4, 5, 6 different people to get the same movement that now one puppeteer could create just by moving his hands and the sticks.
Nice.
Now, there were 2 versions of it, wireless and wired. In the early days and all the way through until after dinosaurs, really, because we didn't do that kind of stuff after that. No, we didn't really do it after that. We had the wireless for broad shots where you couldn't see cables going up into the back of the suits of the people, or the hand puppet with an animatronic. And then we had cable, so that they would come in for a close-up shot, we would be cabled. And the reason we did that was because when it was wireless, all of the signals out in the air would interfere with us. We were near an airport. We were near the Burbank airport where our studio was. So we would get kicks depending on the time of the day when more flights were happening. You'd be on stage doing a scene, delivering your dialogue. Bruce is working like a crazy man, making Charlene say the words. And suddenly we get a hit from the tower at Burbank airport, and her face starts, things like that. And everything, we had to stop. So there are all sorts of challenges between the two, the wireless and the plugged in. But that's what the Henson Digital Performance System was designed to do, allow one puppeteer to do the job of many. So therefore you had more opportunities for one creative mind to realize that vision.
Right. And I know some of the projects you worked on with them was Francis and Sid the Science Kid.
Francis, I love that show. That was so much fun. Francis, what I did on Francis. I was in what I call the Iron Maiden. It was this arm rig that they had created that you slipped your arms through. There were all sorts of rings and metal stuff like that. But anyway, I was literally there to create and control the arms of the baby.
Okay.
So anytime you saw the baby doing stuff with her arms, that was me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I'm in the character, yeah.
Yeah, so going back to some of your film puppetry, what was it like working on the Country Bears?
No. Country Bears was a special treat personally for me because I got to work with Chris Walken again. We had done a musical together I'm going to say 73, 74. It was a show, it was an original musical about Houdini. He was Houdini. I was in the ensemble. I was a very young, spry fellow at the time. And we had a great time. I liked him very much. We got along famously. And then decades later, there we are on a set together. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I said, "You don't remember me, do you?" He says, "Why do you look familiar?" I said, "Well," and I explained that it was one of his first musicals that he had done way back when, mine too, for that matter. And we just got on like a house on fire. We had many chats that I enjoyed immensely. He didn't quite know why he was there in Country Bear Land, but he was a treat. And boy, what a fine actor he is. I mean, even doing this crazy little bear movie, he was right up there. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah, and another project you worked on with Disney is George of the Jungle.
Oh yes, with Brendan. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's a great movie.
We got to work twice with Brendan, actually. We did George first. I think that might have been his first film. Well, no, he had done Encino Man before then for sure. Anyway, it was a film that kind of helped him break out and achieve the star status that he has. But really lovely guy. And then we did Monkey Bone a few years later.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
He starred in that too. Really like him. Brendan's really nice. And in fact, Bruce had a really good relationship and still does with him, because in Monkey Bone, Bruce was doing all of the movements and dialogue, and he was performing the role of Monkey Bone, so that Brendan had a reference to focus on and interact with. He was in green suits, of course, Bruce was, and then they would wipe him out and cover him with the animated character. But they developed a really close relationship. They then went on to do Looney Tunes together sometime after that. And when Brendan had his resurgence with the whale just now, he was in an interview somewhere, and he gave a shout out to Bruce by name, and they've reconnected since then. So it was really lovely. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had a great time on that. That's where I had a real lion lie down on my feet.
Oh my God.
That'll get your attention.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow.
I didn't move, by the way. I stood very still.
Oh, good. Very good.
Yeah, and you also worked on the movie Cats and Dogs, didn't you? Yeah. It was another
Yes,
fun one.
we did Cats and Dogs and Cats and Dogs 2 up in Vancouver, one of the greatest cities in the world and a wonderful place to work. That was largely due to the genius of Dave Barkley. Have you guys talked to him? You should definitely try to talk to him. He's got an extensive history with puppeteering. He was a puppeteer when he was a little kid from that point on. Anyway, He was the lead puppeteer and created the animatronics, and including Mr. Tinkles, the lead character in the movie, for the show. And it was a really, really tight team we had on both of those shows. As a matter of fact, we did some really good stuff on that. But yeah, that was primarily due. I mean, it was the Henson's project, but it was primarily due to the genius of Dave Barkley that came out so well.
Yeah, it's a good one. And forgetting Sarah Marshall, I know you also worked on too.
We had a little bit at the end where the villagers in Dracul's castle. I was one of the village women. There was, if you look at the frame of the scene on frame left, there was a castle with ramparts, and there were 3 female puppets at the top of the rampart. So I was one of those ladies.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
great.
So we've covered a lot of your work in the past, but is there anything you're working on currently that you can share?
The current project is Muppets Mayhem, which is just about to drop on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's very excited for that.
Oh, we're really excited about
Muppets
that.
Mayhem.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. What I was doing primarily, and it's been the mainstay of what of work I've been doing recently, has been the drumming for Animal.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about that is that they just keep coming up with more music for me to play and more ideas how to make the band do things. And we have a lot of hopes for this one. I can tell. I don't know that much about the whole show because I was only there for the times that Animal was drumming, so I wasn't there for the whole season. But from what I've been told, there's a lot of wonderful stuff here and really good Muppets, lots of good Muppet stuff.
Yeah, a lot of musical guests too.
Yes, and they're developing the storylines, the backstories for the band members, which they never have done to that much of an extent. So that's thrilling for me too.
Oh, awesome. Well, I can't wait to check it out. And for those watching or listening, Muppets Mayhem drops on Disney Plus May 10th.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely check it out for sure. I know we will.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So, so what would you like to say to those who have supported the projects you've worked on over the years?
Thank you. No, thank you. No, yeah, that's exactly it. I am thankful every day. I'm a storyteller. I've always been a storyteller, and I've been privileged and lucky and blessed, as I say, to have the opportunities to tell so many stories in so many ways and in so many places. So thank you, and God bless you all.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely.
Same goes to you as always.
Definitely.
So if people want to connect with you, where can people find you?
Okay. I have, as far as merch and stuff like that, I have had an agreement with what were friends for years before they became my representation. It's a entity called Cool Waters Productions. That the head of that is a fellow by the name of Derek Mackey. And they handle all requests for signing autographs and stuff like that. I don't do the conventions much anymore because they don't want to see turtles much anymore, which is the main hook and the reasons why I did conventions for a number of years. But yeah, which I missed because, again, that was a chance to meet the fans face to face, which I really enjoy. But yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, well, yes. The other thing is that I do have a Facebook page that I don't go to very often. You can always get in touch with me there. And yeah, I think that would be probably the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Nice. So since we're about to wrap up, so the last question that we ask all of our guests at the end, of course, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or in your own words, how would you define the word nostalgia?
The memories that make your heart sing.
Absolutely. Definitely. And of course, Muppets and Turtles, very nostalgic to us, as I'm sure they are for a lot of people.
I'm grateful for that.
Yes, absolutely. Alicia, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was a blast.
Yes, thank you so much for
guys.
doing it. And thank you so much for, for what you've done to be a part of our lives, and keep up your great work. And can I wait to see what's next for you?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you guys be well, okay?
Yes, and
thank you too.
Yes, keep in touch, and I'll let you know when this goes up.
And keep flapping those dollies.
Yes.
I will.
Have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye-bye.
you too, Misha. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun. It's goodbye from us as well, everyone.
Yes, it was a blast talking with him, and can't wait for more fun episodes coming very soon.
Yes,
So
we absolutely enjoyed our time with Michelan Sisti. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
What do you say? Bye-bye, everybody.
How to get back there? Okay, Bean.
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show interview. Be sure to follow Jake and the crew on social media and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.